In one more minute, we'll start this webinar. We'll start this race to getting you to a successful PMO. Welcome to our webcast today. You've got a brain trust on here today. We've got folks from BMO and from AdaQuest, and I'm Lionel Hanley from SharkPro. We're going to be talking about getting you successful in project and portfolio management. Our webcast today is Zero to PMO in under 2 weeks. That's the key. Let's look at what we're going to talk about today, and I'll introduce some of these folks too. Our agenda is basically, let's look at the IT challenges that most of you are facing, and I'm going to give you lots of statistics and backup data. Then we'll look at a ready-to-go PMO solution that you can get hosted on BMO. It's from SharkPro, and it'll be configured for you by AdaQuest. You've got a triad of talent here to get you successful, and we'll do it quickly so that you have a faster time to value. Let's get you working and getting the benefits of PPM right away. Joelle from BMO will be talking about the benefits of hosting, and we'll do a quick walkthrough of SharkPro projects. We won't do a live demo. We don't have that much time, so if you want a live demo, I can always set that up for you separately. And then we'll have Hiram from AdaQuest talking about tailoring your solution. What are the typical things that folks want to do in their PMO solution? And if you have questions, put them in the chat right now. As we go along, as you think of them, put them in the chat, and the moderator, Paula, will bring us up at the end. We'll have 10 or 15 minutes to answer questions, and we want to answer every one of your questions. Even if we have to do an email, we'll do that. So let's get started. We got a lot of good stuff to cover, and I appreciate you being here. If my mouse will go forward. There we go. It was a little slow moving. So I'm Lionel Hanley. I am with SharkPro, and VP of Marketing there, and we are a software company that builds a pre-configured solution called SharkPro Projects that we'll be talking a little bit today. But let's first look at some of the IT challenges facing people today. There's 6 I'm going to cover pretty quickly, but I have some data for you if you want more. You know, does this sound familiar? People are not prioritizing and aligning their projects. You know, let me give an example. What I mean by this. This is a major problem. A PMO manager was brought in to set up a PMO because they didn't have one, and one of the first things first calls he got was from the CIO saying, "Hey, where's my project? How's it going? I'm expecting $4 million in return on investment on this project. Where is it?" And when the future involved and looked at that and said, "Well, where is this project?" He found that the resources were working on something else. They were working on a new service for the employees instead of working on the CIO's project. So one of the first things we have to recognize is that we have to be able to prioritize projects based on their ROI and their alignment to your business objectives. So we've got to show it's not just first come, first serve. It's not who yells the loudest or what's the most fun. We've got to have a governance structure of how projects are approved and the executives can sign off for you to get these projects done. one of the hardest things that I found, and actually the same guy at the hospital said, getting folks to determine the ROI of their projects, actually having a process set up for doing measurements or predicting what the ROI would be. So 59% of companies don't have a benefits management process. A third don't define the financial benefits. They just do a project because they think it might be good. It probably will have benefits. But if you've got multiple projects and limited resources, as we all do in today's economy, then you need to have a way of getting your resources aligned with what's going to be the best bang for the buck. You've got to have ROI before you start your projects determined, and that way we can prioritize. That's part of your governance process leading into kicking off a project, okay? So that's probably the first big thing is, do we do this project anyway? And if we're going to do it, in what order? Do we have the resources? Does it have the right bang for the buck? Or is it aligned with a business need or a driver right now? So do we do the right projects? Second thing is, okay, we're going to do this project. What are the requirements? You know, a lot of folks don't even have a way of gathering requirements and getting them signed off. You know, 80% of the project failures are because of changing requirements. So when you start to put this project together, make sure at the beginning you've got requirements and the scope signed off at the beginning, because let me show you some data. If you don't, what will happen? If you have 3 changes in your requirements, your risk of failure, you know, 11% of the project is going to fail. They're not going to meet budget or schedule because you make changes, any changes, okay? If you make 3 to 6 changes, a quarter of the projects will fail. So, again, the importance. If you make 6 to 9, a third, okay? Over half will fail if you keep changing requirements. It's better to do an iterative process, I think, and have your requirements defined, scope it down, get that project successful, and if we need to make enhancements, do it later. So we have some ROI at the beginning, and we continue to add to it. So I'd rather have an agile approach than do a big waterfall thing, but at least define your requirements, okay? That's number 2 on our list. Number 3, resources. Okay, we're going to do the project. We've got the requirements down, but guess what? Do we have the right resources available to start the project? And part of your project planning, if you got multiple projects, is do we do this now when resources are available or later? Do we outsource? About 20% of mid-market companies can't manage their resources, their human capital. They don't measure how well these folks do on the projects they have, for example. So let's look at some of the things in detail. 80% of the team members, 80% of project managers have had team members that were difficult, unwilling to contribute, or didn't have the right skills. Look at these numbers. 55% assigned to my project lacked the skill set. 51% didn't have enough time or energy. Maybe they were split too much or overtaxed. 40% are just difficult to get along with. Okay, so assigning the right resources, you know, is more than just knowing what's on their resume in your resource descriptions. You've got to know, do they have the right skill set? Are they fatigued? Are they available? And do they work well in the team? And this is going to improve with time as you do more projects. Your project managers kind of do this in their head. Do I want this guy on this team or not? So this is one of the things that'll bite you. You've got to know your resources. Are they available? And if you're going to outsource, how are you going to manage them? Let's look at number 4, schedules. Now, some schedules, you know, are overly optimistic. Let me give you a story. When I was at NASA Johnson Space Center working on shuttle software and space station software, we would get estimates from a project manager who's done this several times, and they're good programmers, and they became a project manager, and they say it's going to take, you know, 1,000 man-hours or whatever. We found a good rule of thumb was to multiply by 2.3. That was our method, because the project manager or the team lead, the coder who estimated this effort, typically doesn't think about the documentation, the test plans, all the other stuff that goes on. They just think, I can do that in 1,000 hours or 2 weeks. But you've got to have some kind of way of methodically setting up your projects and estimating. If you underestimate, you're going to go long. The other thing is the problem too. What if you put extra hours, you put too much cushion? Well, then you might miss your deadlines. Your time to market is important, or by the time your project's done, it's obsolete. So you've got to get really good at the project managers estimating projects. You might want to keep a track record on how well they do. As time goes on, you know this project manager is getting better and better at estimating projects. And then once you have your schedule, folks have difficulty tracking it. You've got to be able to have milestones in there that you take a break and say, hey, are we on track? How much time have we used? How much of the budget have we used? And where do we go from here? You'd be surprised. At the PMO conference last summer, we kind of did a little informal survey in the room and found that many folks, more than half, were using spreadsheets for doing a lot of this stuff, and it was unbelievable. Oh yeah, we email a spreadsheet on where we are on the project every week, mailing a spreadsheet. Somebody had to create it, somebody had to make the email, somebody had to read all this stuff. That is so inefficient. We're going to talk about ways to make you more efficient doing that. Failure to manage risks. Setting up your project, we've got to know there are risks in either technology, resources available, outsourcing, the platform you're building on, hurricanes like that are hitting us today. What are you going to do when there's a risk? How are you going to mitigate that risk? Have that plan up front so you don't fail because you didn't recognize the risk. Poor project planning, basically lack of a plan. Kind of summarize the stuff from before. 75% of organizations don't have a repeatable process. How can you get better if you haven't measured it from the beginning? So do something that you write down a process and then improve on it is better than just ad hoc. Okay, let's get you past ad hoc into a repeatable process. And the tools and stuff we're going to show you have processes built in. So when we talk about Ready-to-go PMO, it's ready to go with a built-in best practice. We can get you past these 6 things right away in 2 weeks. So project and portfolio management is often the top reason. To summarize it all up, 89% of the companies say they don't have visibility into what's going on in all their projects. Okay, 22% don't have a standard project management process. 80% do it manually. And of those that have it, most of them don't like it. Okay, so we've got to find a better way, and I think we've got that for you. Let's see. I'm trying to go to this page here. There we go. So what are the critical success factors? Well, if you're going to build a PMO and have PPM established, you have to have executive buy-in. They have to understand the benefits. You can use these things we presented to say, hey, these are the risks and the things that we're going to improve on. This is why we need it. They must like and support your tool and your process, okay? And the product, the tool, the PMO support has to have those dashboards. Why? Let me tell you, those dashboards are the sizzle of the steak. They help get executive buy-in and everybody tied in right away. And we're going to show you that right out of the box. It's going to be easy to learn and use so everyone gets started and is productive on the team. And we're going to show you with AdaQuest and BMO, you can get that implemented right away. So let me get you some other thoughts. The challenges to PPM, you'll see, companies like you are saying, well, we love Microsoft PPM. It's the leader in the market, but, we don't want to start. We want to start with something and build out. We can't handle it all at one time. Or we're setting up a PMO, but we're not mature enough. We want to run a pilot project. Our department wants collaboration and lightweight stuff, but we don't have time to tie it into, some other IT system like CA or whatever. We are an existing project server user, and we'd like to light up our dashboards. These are typical things that we see people say, well, we're not ready, we're afraid, we don't have the people that can implement it. Well, why don't use a hosted, out-of-the-box solution that has the best practice already built in? You don't have to have all that upfront worry. So let me tell you about our product. Sharkpro Projects is a ready-to-go PMO. It's pre-configured project server. You get the full implementation of project server, but it's already got all the roles defined for the team members, executives, project managers, portfolio managers, and program managers. Each one has a view, and you see some of those on the right. Built in, 21 different project request types and approvals. So you can say, hey, I need a new facility. I need an enhancement to a program. I need a new project. So you, out of the box, have a way to handle that demand and approval of projects. So you can build in some workflow to have your kind of approvals for those projects. It addresses those first two worries in your life cycle. The project types are built in. When you approve a project, it goes right into project server. You started. You can sync up your projects with the desktop, and you've got a project ready to go. You can track it. It pushes the information up to you up to your desktop. It comes with the 50 reports most people use. You don't have to build those. You'll be able to see where you are in the timeline and on the workflow, track all your tasks and issues, pre-configured fields and forms, so you don't have to be an administrator to get this set up. And it's all available to you on BMO today. So the bottom line is you can go and try and build it yourself, take a project server or some other competitive product, and go through a needs analysis, specify all the kind of things you think you need, do a custom install, configuration, and deployment, and take an average 6 weeks, 9 weeks to 9 months to build an enterprise system from scratch. Or you can take a pre-configured software first approach where we essentially install a pre-configured system. Okay, you're up and running now. The other guys would still be configuring and figuring out what to do. You can add customization and enhancements, but why not do that after your organization has tried a few projects, gotten a little mature? You know, we can build in the workflow from day one, add some custom reports if you know what they are, but you can always add that afterwards as well. Let's get you the benefits of PPM quicker, sooner. This is kind of a couple of screenshots. I'm going to run through these really quickly as I'm going over my time. But basically, you can go into BMO and log in, and it pops your dashboards with timeline and status reports. All that stuff is built in. Team members love the fact that they don't have to be a project server expert to know what to do. They can see who their team members are. They can see what their upcoming events are, what tasks are assigned to them, upcoming milestones they need to worry about, and they can click and open a document and start working on it. If you've got an idea for a new project, you can open up a project request and say, hey, this is how I think we ought to do this. And then it goes through an approval cycle that would result in a new project. Okay, so here's that first part, capturing the demand, capturing ideas, and creating new projects. You would sync with Microsoft Project on your desktop. Microsoft Project 2010 Pro works with Project Server and Sharkpro Projects. So you don't have to learn anything new, Mr. Project Manager. You work on your desktop. But if you want to know what all your projects are doing, you can click on your web front end, and there it is. All your projects are shown. They're highlighted in color. You can see the risks and issues bubbles on the right. You can see all the, oh, actually, I got this little thing here. So you can see all your projects here. You can see who's green, who's red. One click, and you can jump into the details of that project. Here's all your risks listed over here. Documents that have been the most recent documents submitted on your projects. There's deliverables and task info and more. So everything you need to know what's going on is pushed to you. You don't dig around in all those screens in Project Server to find them. There is built-in time management. And we know that everyone has different ways of doing time. Oops, it's not popping up for some reason. Well, there's time management. Time management, there's calendar and a way that you can actually click a timer and start, select a task, click a timer, work on the task, pull up a document, check the document back in, stop your task, and all that stuff is built in. These things are are basically options you could turn off and turn on if you already have a time tracking system, for example. I'm trying to show you 50 reports. There are 50 reports built in to the system. It's letting me save them. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's Bruno. Joel, quick consistent reporting. So there's 50 reports built in, already there. The most common ones that you want to see on resources, project management. You just click and they come up. You can export them to Word, Excel, or put them in your email and send them out. So out of the box, you're looking like the big boys. Right out of the box, it's running. Now, I'm going to introduce Joel, and Joel's from BMO, our hosting partner, and I guess you're going to switch him over. Well, there we go. Joel's a VP of Business Development. He's a great guy, by the way, and he's got a cool accent. I don't hear you, Joel.
Hello everyone, this is Joel from BMO. Can everyone hear me okay?
We hear you now.
Oh, great, great. Well, thank you, Lionel, for the nice introduction and sharing with us the challenges that an organization can face trying to build a PMO. I'm going to share with you the benefits of going hosted with BMO and which can enable you to go from zero to PMO in less than 2 weeks. So I just got a couple of slides here. They're loaded with a lot of good information. First, I'd like to let you know that BMO is a software as a service provider specialized in EPM solution built on SharePoint and Microsoft Project Server. We deliver cost-effective enterprise-grade hosted service for small to Fortune 500 company. Through our innovative business model and cloud-based architecture, BMO is the only hosting provider in the world to offer true on-demand Project Server 2010 ready in less than 30 minutes with no setup fee, no long-term contract, or no minimum user requirement. BMO Cloud or any of our dedicated server solution can be ordered with SharpPro project already installed. Our services are enabled for 24/7, 365. They come standard with a financially backed 99.9 uptime SLA, and also we do backup every 4 hours and have a disaster recovery solution for every plan you order with us. Licensing wise, well, it's very easy with BMO. As a matter of fact, you can bring your own license to BMO, and in return we will discount your hosted service. BMO is also an academic reseller for Microsoft, so we can provide a significant discount for all qualified customers. Regardless if you're an academic customer or not, if you're looking for pure SaaS play, BMO can handle all the licensing for you through Microsoft SPLA, whereas you don't have to purchase any license and you only pay every month for your service. So when you contact BMO or Adequest or SharpPro looking at a hosted solution for Project Server, make sure to discuss and look at all your options in terms of licensing so we can provide the best deal for you. Beside what we already mentioned, with going hosted with BMO, you will realize soon that you don't have any upfront capital investment. You don't need to require any specific staffing, dedicated staffing to provision or maintain your project server infrastructure. And on top of that, you will benefit of BMO core expertise in project server hosting, and you can predict the cost of your hosted solution. just forgot to mention about our grow as we go concept here. So with BMO, you can start small. You can have an minimum amount of user, which can be as little as one, and you can add user or option or as you grow as needed. And you also have the option to migrate from our private cloud infrastructure to a dedicated server if you need you have a larger organization or have specific needs. So we can do all that for you, and we have experts that can help you migrate. If you're already on project server, we can also migrate you to our hosted service if you like. Besides, we do also we provide the customization on the infrastructure side. So if you have a lot of data to crunch, you need large storage to store your SharePoint data, and all that good stuff. So simply put, if you go by going hosted with BMO, you get maximum flexibility. You get our project server hosting expertise, you got reliability, affordability, and you have a hosted solution that is ready in matter of minutes instead of days or months. So let me go to my next slide here. So you guys may wonder how is it possible to come up with a hosted solution like this that will that do all this, provide all this benefit to you. Well, first I have to say that BMO is a Microsoft Gold certified partner specialized in SharePoint and Microsoft Project Server hosted solution, and we've pioneered the concept of on-demand project server hosting 3 years ago. So through innovation, automation, attention to details, and commitment to deliver the best project server hosted experience, we have enabled our customer to get just what they want and give them the flexibility to add more to their plan in the future. We do support hybrid implementation scenario, whereas we can implement Active Directory, VPN, Exchange, TFS, and Office 365 integration. So that will make your hosted environment behave like if it was on-premise for practical purpose. On top of that, our customer can add third-party application to their plan, such as SharpPro project. So in terms of what run in the background or how our infrastructure is hosted, we run everything in a SSEA16 or CCA 5970 data center. We run on state-of-the-art hardware and network infrastructure, which can be used for a wide array of applications, ranging from a short-term hosting for proof of concept to high-availability enterprise-grade solution for thousands of users. Our entire dedicated server solution can be deployed in any of our 8 data centers worldwide, located in Canada, Singapore, Amsterdam, and throughout the United States. We have large network pipe running on 10 gigabit network, and we rely over 2,000 gigabits of connectivity between all the data center and 18 point of presence. Oops, just a second. I forgot to mention something. So if you're interested to go hosted with BMO, it's very simple. We have plans starting at $59 a month. We have a 7-day money-back warranty, and we can provision your service in 17 different languages. So in a nutshell, regardless of the size of your business and option you may need, BMO is definitely your best choice to have Microsoft Project Server provisioned in no time at a very competitive cost and with maximum flexibility and reliability. So now I'd like to introduce you to Iram Machado. He's President and CEO of VadaQuest. You're on, Iram.
I think they're switching over.
All right. So I hope you can all hear me.
We hear you, but we don't see your slide.
Is it now? Is it on now? It should be.
Not yet.
Oh yeah.
You want me to?
What about now?
Not yet. If you can't do it, flip it to me and I'll just turn your slides for you.
Hold on. Yeah. You should be seeing it now.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Look at that handsome guy.
All right.
Save the best for last.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Lionel. Hello, everybody. I'm Hiram Machado, president of Request. We are a Microsoft partner on PPM solution. And let me share with you a little bit on the next slide. All right, so the Request project and work management solution, our job is really to understand your environment and really map a self-reliant solution to your requirements. By taking advantage of our deep understanding of Project Server, we are customer-focused. We understand the functionality of Sharp Pro tool, and it's easy to use user interface. And taking advantage of a streamlined hosting solution from BMO, we can really help you stand up your PMO in less than 2 weeks. And we have proven that concept already. One little story that I want to share with you about one of our customers that I think this lines up with Lionel said a little bit earlier on is that there was one of my customers, a VP of a large corporation, and I asked him once, how did he decide which projects to fund? How did he decide which projects were important and aligned with the business objectives? And by the way, that organization under that VP alone, they had about 180 different projects going on at the same time, different initiatives. And what he told me was rather interesting. He said, you know what, I think the way that we decide here is basically whomever screams louder gets the budget. And whomever makes the most noise ended up getting the budget. And that's not necessarily the best way to go about it. And not necessarily those projects were aligned with the business objectives. But yet, they didn't have full visibility. After a few months working with that organization, we were able to identify a number of redundant projects, a number of projects that were not aligned with the business objectives. And today, as opposed to 180, they run at about 35 to 40 projects going on at a time. So a lot more efficient. The projects are now aligned with the business objectives. The resources are not struggling to get as much done at the same time. So that's one of the things that we bring to the table, is that experience with implementation, training, and onboarding your organization into this new framework that you use. Talking a little bit about our experience, Dave DeCollin is our solution architect working with Request. Has over 20 years of experience. He holds some 5 patents on Project Server feature. David, by the way, used to be a product product manager at Microsoft for about 10 years. I work on project server features. And all of our consultants, they have 10 plus years of experience in EPM implementation. So we really have a deep knowledge. We are Microsoft partner on project and portfolio management, and our focus is to make sure that your organization understands what needs to be done, that the organization adoption, increase the adoption. And by the way, one of the biggest challenges that we have found with implementation of EPM system was adoption. It's a cultural change sometimes. People are sometimes asked to do things differently from what they have been used to, and having a strategy, onboard strategy, is as important as having the tool itself to be able to use. If you don't have a good onboard strategy, the tendency is for people not to use it, neither not to use it or not to use it as effectively as they could have. And that is what we at Quest bring to the table, and how we try to help you. We have found that there is no other solution in the world that's as streamlined as BMO to get you up and running overnight. SharkPro really addresses the easiness of using and adoption of Project Server, and we will be standing side by side with you and your organization to make sure that everything falls into place as you go through that implementation. This is pretty much our presentation for today. I would like to open up for questions. And there are a few questions that came through that I want to quickly answer, and then open up for any questions that comes up. So first question was about whether you can download the presentation, and also there's another question whether you can there will be a recording. And the answer is yes. You get an email on and a link to our projectworkmanagement.com website, and in there you'll be able to download and watch the presentation again. So you'll get an email on that. The other question was about PDU credit, and yes, that you can claim one PDU credit for this category B. So if you are PMP, it's a good opportunity to get another credit. And the other question is, so in fact, okay, so the question is, so in effect, this is a Project Server 2010 implementation where SharkPro has pre-configured the views, etc., to hopefully meet most of my needs and minimize customer development. And that was the question, and the answer is yes. It is what it is. We can get you up and running overnight, basically, with custom fields already in place. Everything's pre-configured for you. And usually a good approach to have it is to get started before you understand. Most of the time when we consult with our customers, they have a hard time to even figure out what they need until they know what they have in their hands. I can think of an example in which we have, in the past, we have come up with all the requirements, and we had to build like 5 or 6 different reports for the customer. And 6 months later, after the implementation of the system, at least 3 of those reports were outdated. That was not what the customer really needed. And they learned what they needed as they started to use the system. So, and that is what SharkPro with BMO allows you to do, allows you to get started and learn on the tool, and therefore you can really build your requirements based on real experience utilizing the tool. And it's going to be quicker, cheaper, and more effective for you if you do it that way. And I'll open up now for any other questions at this point. If I have one question here for Lionel. Lionel, can you, because I get this quite often, can you elaborate on how hard is it to move an existing project in Shark Pro project hosted by BMO?
Okay. It's not hard. You just have to follow certain steps, and there's a couple of things. If you have an existing batch of projects, and they're already in Microsoft Project, you know, and you're not using SharePoint or anything else, if you go from desktop, you can sync up your projects directly into SharePoint, into Project Server and Shark Pro, and that's an easy way to take things from the desktop and upload them into Project Server. If you've got a whole bunch of projects, there's a couple of things we have to check, and that's to see what kind of information your, like custom information, custom fields you created in your project types that you want to migrate over. Once we've defined that, we just kind of scan that, then we can migrate those over into the system. A lot of folks might have 2003 or 2007 and need to go up to 2010. And we'll have to walk through that process as well. At one of the Children's Hospital in Dallas, they basically had the project managers, I think they had 10 project managers sit around in the conference room and work together, and basically they uploaded their projects themselves in a couple of days by basically saying, you know, let's snapshot where we are, baseline it, and bring it up, and it can be done quickly.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you for that answer. Something that I would like
just to add to that.
Sure.
It's not just Project Server that we can pull from. We pull from just about every database out there. If it's in a database format today, going back to a central repository, we can pull from that. As Lionel mentioned, we just align the custom fields and pull it over.
All right, fantastic.
Right.
So that really makes it easy for going into Shark Pro, whatever system you have in place. Before we take on more questions, I would like to share some of the promotions that we have for you today attending this webinar. So number one is we are offering a 20% off coupon on Shark Pro and BMO. And I hope if you have a need for this solution, that you take advantage of that promotion and that discount, and you have that discount because you attended this webinar. So please do take advantage of it. And also, if you do need help from AdaQuest, we are offering a free needs analysis via phone with our PPM specialist. And we are also offering 1 free day of consulting with every 2 weeks of consulting if you need our help. So those are the giveaways for people attending this webinar today. With that, I would like to know if there is any further questions from anybody. I'll give you about a few seconds to type in any questions that you might have. Otherwise, I just want a couple of things I want to clarify for people in attending the webinar. And back to Lionel. Lionel, so my assumption here is, and I think people are making that assumption, is can we still utilize Microsoft Project on the desktop and sync up with Shark Pro on the cloud and Project Server?
Oh yeah, that's a feature built into Project Server automatically. It's got to be Microsoft Project 2010 Pro. So you have to have the professional edition that has the built-in syncing. Basically, you can save a project to your desktop, and then you say, now publish it to Project Server or to SharePoint, and you go into a little dialog box that says, here's, I had to log in once, and it puts it right into the project server. And when you do that, it's published to project server, and it'll appear in your Shark Pro dashboards.
Fantastic.
So
Fantastic.
people can do that. You can do that on a weekly basis if that's the way you want to work as a project manager. Just stay on your desktop and use that, and then use SharePoint as a way to visualize everything that's going on across projects and stuff.
Fantastic. So people can really take an advantage of the client desktop version of project they are used to, most people are used to, and yet take advantage of Shark Pro and project server on the cloud. Another question that came through, that's for Joel. Joel, there's a question on what's in the $59 a month plan. Does this include all three of these things under one implementation? So can you please elaborate?
Yeah, with $59 you get a PWA subscription, so you can access your project web access page as a user. Okay, that's the $59 there. You can add the Shark Pro on top of that. Our pricing actually is all is in one page on our website. So if you go under bmopro.com, look at pricing for project server, you get all the details there. But essentially, $59 get you PWA access, and Shark Pro in the cloud is $22, and those are based on single. Low quantity. We have volume pricing. We also have enterprise agreement, and we support license mobility, academic pricing. So there are some discount that goes on top of those prices I just mentioned.
Fantastic. Thank you. I hope that answered your question. Trevor Lewis is raising his hand. He'd like to ask a question. So Trevor, we are opening the mic for you. So please feel free to ask your question now.
Yes, hi guys, and thank you for the information first of all. So of course some of the information presented here would be really helpful, so I wondered if you could make the slide set available, or...
Hello Trevor, the answer is yes, it will be available on the website that you see on the screen right now, www.projectworkmanagement.com. However, we will send an email with the links and everything for everybody, and you can download the presentation and watch the recorded session.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and Christine, I think, has a question. And Christine, we're opening up the mic for you right now. Hello, Christine Drabicki, if I pronounce it right. So I guess Christine is not. I
guess not.
Guess not. So we'll close. Oh,
oh God.
She seems to be. Yeah. So we'll close the mic.
Yeah, I would mute her.
Yes. Anybody else? Any questions that would like us to clarify or help you out with? All right. Well, if there is no further question, I hope this was informational and useful for all of you. Please feel free to follow up with us on email. We'll be happy to answer any question if anything comes up later. Feel free to contact us via email or telephone or through our website. You can also fill in a form and request more information if you need to. And I want to thank all the presenters. Lionel, great presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Joel. And thank you, everybody, for attending this presentation. And I wish you the best luck and a great ride in the PPM world.
Thank you, guys.
Well
Thank
done,
you, everybody.
All right. Bye now.